And here's the scary, thrilling horror story in first person. Hello guys. Today on the channel Grandpa's Horror Tales, a new story. Do not forget to subscribe and write comments. Are you ready? Then let's get started. My grandfather was a great storyteller. He had a way of making even the most mundane tales sound thrilling and exciting. But there was one story in particular that always sent shivers down my spine. It was a story about a cursed village deep in the woods. The villagers had made a deal with the devil in exchange for wealth and prosperity. But as with all deals with the devil, there was a catch. The villagers had to sacrifice one child every year to appease the devil. My grandfather told me this story one dark and stormy night. We were sitting by the fireplace, the only source of light in the room. The wind was howling outside, and the rain was lashing against the windows. As he spoke, I could feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. I could almost hear the screams of the children being sacrificed, and the laughter of the devil as he claimed his prize. But my grandfather wasn't finished yet. He said that the curse of the village was still alive, and that anyone who dared to venture into the woods would never return. I was terrified, but at the same time, I couldn't help but feel curious. Was the curse real? Could I really disappear into thin air if I went into those woods? The next day, I decided to find out. I went into the woods, armed with nothing but a flashlight and my courage. At first, everything was normal. The trees were tall and the ground was damp. But as I went deeper into the woods, things started to get strange. I heard strange whispers in the wind, and I saw strange shadows moving in the corners of my eyes. And then I saw it. A small clearing, with a strange symbol carved into the ground. I knew I should turn back, but I couldn't resist. I stepped into the clearing, and that's when everything went black. When I woke up, I was back in my grandfather's house. He was sitting by my side, a worried look on his face. I asked him what had happened, but he just shook his head and said that I had been lucky to come back alive. To this day, I still don't know what happened in those woods. But one thing's for sure, I'll never forget my grandfather's warning. The curse of the village is real, and it's not something to be taken lightly. From that day on, I couldn't shake off the feeling that something had changed within me. I felt as if a part of me had been left behind in that cursed village, never to be retrieved. My grandfather noticed the change in me and decided to tell me more about the cursed village. He said that the village had been abandoned many years ago, and that the curse had spread to the nearby town. People had gone missing, strange events had occurred, and rumors of a ghostly figure roaming the town were rampant. But my grandfather had a plan. He said that the curse could be broken if someone was willing to sacrifice themselves for the greater good. The sacrifice had to be made willingly, with a pure heart, and without any fear. I was stunned. Was my grandfather suggesting that I should sacrifice myself? But then he clarified. He said that it didn't have to be me, but someone had to step forward. That's when I knew what I had to do. I couldn't let the curse continue to wreak havoc on innocent lives. I had to do something, and I was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. The next day, I went back into the woods, armed with nothing but my determination. I found the clearing once again, and this time, I didn't hesitate. I stood in the middle of the symbol and closed my eyes. Suddenly, I felt a cold wind blowing around me, and a voice whispered in my ear. It was the devil himself, tempting me to turn back. But I stood my ground, and as I did, I felt a warm light enveloping me. When I opened my eyes, I was back in my grandfather's house. But this time, I knew that something had changed. I had broken the curse, and the town would now be safe. My grandfather hugged me, tears in his eyes. He said that I had done what no one else could, and that I had proven myself to be a true hero. And as I looked out of the window, I saw the sun shining brightly, as if it was a sign that the curse had truly been lifted. From that day on, I knew that I had been given a second chance at life. And I promised myself that I would always be willing to make sacrifices for the greater good. Because sometimes, it's the only way to break the curse.